The defendant here is a guy by the name of Daniel Stearns. He's charged with second-degree murder in connection to the death of his girlfriend.
Yeah, her name was Nancy Howery. We're calling this one the Scattered Remains murder trial. Prosecutors say he not only killed her, but then he buried her, dug her up, and then disposed of her remains again. Last week, jurors heard testimony from Nancy's ex-husband, Todd Howery. He testified to the circumstances of her disappearance and eventually reporting her missing. Take a listen.
Do you know Nancy Howery? Did you know Nancy Howery?
Yes.
And how did you know?
She was my ex-wife.
About when were you divorced?
December 21st, 2020 was final judgment.
Did you have any children?
Yes.
How many children and what were their ages back in February of 2023?
There's two, 13 and 11.
At that time?
Correct.
At the time, during this time period, February 15th area of 2023, could you please explain to the jury a little bit of how the custody arrangements were with regard to drop-off and pick-up at school?
We had a parenting agreement over divorce that we would essentially every other day, so it would be 2 days on, 2 days off, and then we would split. We'd have a 3-day weekend twice a month.
And that during that time period, and let's talk specifically about February 15th, 2023. Was it your turn to drop off or pick up on that day?
To drop off, but not pick up.
And where were your children going to school at that time?
My youngest was going to Holland Elementary in Satellite Beach, and my oldest was going to Delora Middle School in Satellite Beach.
And is your daughter the oldest or the youngest?
She's the oldest.
Now, on February 15th, 2023, did you expect to have to pick your children up at school that day? Was it part of your agreement? Was it your day?
Negative on that.
And did you receive word that you had to do that?
I got a call from the school, from Holland Elementary, since they let out prior to Delora.
And did you also receive a call from Delora?
Negative, no.
Did you go and pick your children up from school? Explain to the jury how that happened.
With Holland Elementary, they have a car loop, and the children, being of their ages, were basically, you had to go through a process of picking them up. You had to have be on the pickup list. With Delora, since the children are older, they're just released.
So back on February 15th, 2023, you were contacted by your elementary school child.
Correct.
And did you pick him up from school?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of vehicle your ex-wife was driving at that time?
2014 Honda Odyssey, a touring.
And did you know what the tag number of that vehicle was at that time?
I remember partially, but I had a photo of it since I had a vehicle stolen in the past. I take pictures of the plates.
You're in my first school. You may.
No objection.
I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as States Exhibit A and B. If you would take a look at these photographs, please. Do you recognize that vehicle?
I do.
Does looking at that photograph help refresh your recollection as to the tag number of your ex-wife's minivan?
The plate matches.
And what is the plate number, sir?
948. I recognize this right here because of the damage and the driver's side front quarter panel.
does that photograph truly and accurately depict what the vehicle looks like, the Honda minivan that your ex-wife was driving?
Yes.
And both pictures, State's Exhibit A and B for identification purposes, are those true and accurate photographs of that vehicle?
Yes.
I'd like to move into evidence States A and B.
No objection.
1 and 2.
An objection, they will be entered as states 1 and 2. A is 1, B is 2.
Yeah, I'll publish it this time.
You may.
Now, Mr. Howard, you indicated that there was some damage to the vehicle that lets you know that that is a true and accurate photograph of your ex-wife's vehicle at that time.
Correct.
Could you please describe for the jury as they're looking at the pictures what kind of damage was there?
The driver's side front quarter panel is somewhat misaligned.
You've seen that before, so you can recognize that as your ex-wife's vehicle.
Correct.
Let's bring in trial attorney Wendy Patrick to talk about what we're seeing in this case. Again, the court is dark today, but we're going back to some of these really important moments in the trial that we haven't aired. And Wendy, Todd is such an important person for the prosecution. He serves so many purposes, not only reporting her missing, but he's able to really humanize her inside this courtroom.
That's exactly right, Julia and Ted, because the forensics, they tell the story the victim cannot, but the loved ones really personalize and humanize the deceased. And that's exactly what you're seeing happening here. He's articulate. He is discussing details that he would know because of the time he spent with her as her husband. And contrasting that to what we know about the defendant's behavior after the murder, burying her, digging her up. I mean, some of these facts, we may be desensitized as criminal lawyers. We hear so much of it, but that's horrifying to a jury. You know, we sometimes have to think about what this is going to sound like by the trier of fact. I mean, judges may hear it, but sometimes jurors have never in their life heard of this kind of behavior, which is why cadaver dogs are so fascinating to triers of fact. The thought that there are dogs that are trained on decomposition, and that is one of the things that really makes these cases almost expert driven, and that an expert is able to articulate exactly why those dogs are correct, why they're right on the money, and why they often elicit at least some kind of admission from the parties after the fact, because they're just so good at detecting what the human knows, or even visually we cannot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done a couple stories with them, and they're great at what they do, trained. And I have to ask you about this defense. So the defense is basically, hey, we were fighting, but then we made up, and then she really wanted to learn how to use a gun, and all of a sudden she lunged at me, and I shot her. The fact that he did rebury her, scatter her remains around, does that, for a juror, make his defense ridiculous, or does he have a chance here trying to convince a juror that he just overreacted after this horrible accident?
Let me answer that last question first, because that comes up quite a lot, where you have defense attorneys arguing, well, how would you know the way you would respond if there was an accidental death? How do you know whether somebody's grieving properly? That comes up a lot. But what you said earlier probably doesn't. When you make up after a fight, especially if it's a volatile relationship, you should be afraid if the soon-to-be ex asks you to go shooting. You know, you heard something about her being with her friends that morning. I have to tell you, so many red flags are noticed not necessarily by the victim, but by the people that were close to her. Friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, coworkers. They often are very savvy to noticing when there's something off with somebody that someone is dating. And when you couple that with somebody being invited to go and shoot a weapon, especially after a fight, that is probably something that the friends would remember. And that's also something that jurors might consider in deciding whether or not there was premeditation.
Oh, yeah. There's so much for these jurors to be looking at. This, oddly, is the second case this week that we've been covering where a boyfriend says she wanted me to teach her how to shoot. And that's why we ended up here. Wendy, stand by. We're going to get in a break. And more of the ex-husband on the stand in the case against Daniel Stearns when we come back. Thanks for being with us. You're watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, shocking new details reveal that Lakin Snelling's baby was born alive. We'll take a closer look at her alleged actions after the death of her infant.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on Court TV.
4 dead students. None of it seemed to make any sense.
He was evil.
What devastation.
All I can do is scream.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rowlands. New episode Saturday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific.
Only on Court TV.
You're saying that you saw her on the 15th, but decided to call off meeting her?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but not really see her.
What do you mean?
We never really saw her.
Physically saw each other?
It's not like that.
What do you mean it's not like that?
Not really physically seeing her.
Okay, so you didn't physically see her on the 15th?
No.
Okay.
That's completely strange to me.
Were you guys supposed to meet on the 15th?
No. Well, wait. From when we talked, that's it.
Okay.
Completely strange to the detective. Could be strange to these jurors.
Yeah, while we wait for court to resume in Michigan, we've been looking back at some key testimony in this other trial that we're closely monitoring here at Court TV. They're dark today because of the Yom Kippur holiday. It's the murder trial for Daniel Stearns.
Happening in Florida, deputies there say that Stearns not only killed his girlfriend, but that he burned and dismembered her remains and scattered them. The woman he was dating at the time is Nancy Howery, and after burning her body, the investigators say he then took those remains and put them in different locations.
You know, we've been listening back to testimony from Todd Howery, Nancy's ex-husband. Let's pick it up where we left off before the break.
So you picked your children up from school, the 15th, the 16th, what happened? With regard to their school drop-off.
I dropped my children off in the morning at Holland and then Delora. She again was supposed to pick up the children that afternoon. I received a phone call from Holland Elementary saying that nobody is there to pick up my son. I left work to pick up my son. And then when my daughter was released, we picked her up.
Now, you picked up your children 2 days from school when it was your ex-wife's, I want to say, turn to pick them up. She was the scheduled pickup.
Correct.
Did you take any steps to go to the police department, check out hospitals, do anything like that at that point to determine if she was okay?
The second day raised flags. She did have a business that sometimes she would not be able to pick up the kids, meetings. The second day was never happened before. I discussed this with my children, my daughter. We elected to go to Indian Harbor Beach PD to inquire if there's been an accident, hospitalized, but we made contact with Indian Harbor Police Department.
Did you, and that was on the 16th, did you make any further contact with Indian Harbor Beach Police Department?
Not that day.
Then was there contact after that, a couple of days later?
On Saturday.
Please describe, did you go to the police department, did they come to you, how did that happen?
We went to the police department at approximately around 11 a.m., I believe. It's been a little bit.
And this was a Saturday, you mentioned.
That is correct.
On Friday, did you pick up your children from school? Was there any contact on Friday as well?
Yes, that was my day to pick up my children. So I picked them up from school.
And then Saturday, you went to the police department.
Saturday, that was February 18th.
Yes.
We went to the police department to file the missing persons.
From the time that you were first alerted to pick your children up from school on the 15th of February 2023, have there been any contact with your ex-wife? Did your children have contact with your ex-wife?
My children had reached out to message her on the 15th. On the 16th, after speaking with my children, see if they've messaged her. My daughter did. Okay, she said there's no response back. I text messaged Nancy, basically saying, you're scaring us, please reach out. And then we went to the police department when she did not respond.
So there was no response from, as of February 15th, 2023 on.
I believe it was the morning of the 15th that my daughter last heard from her.
I don't have any additional questions, thank you.
Defense.
Just one question, what's the business?
She ran an Amazon arbitrage business, a reseller.
I don't know what that is, I'm sorry.
You buy products off of Amazon, they come from individual resellers who buy in bulk and then sell them individually or in quantity.